Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Kurtz here in Yeshiva Tsama Nafshi. We are learning Pirkei Avos, our first year, about 9 o'clock in the morning. And we're learning about the Maimer of Shmuel HaKatan. Nafshi Yibecha al Tismach, Sholo al Yagid, Yibcha, Ben Yerushalyim, B'ra B'ina V'Hashiv Alal Akh. Let's just review. We started with the Shibuli electric yesterday, the third reference in the sheet there, actually the fourth. Let's start it again, okay? We'll go through the beginning again. Read that, please?
From the top of the halakha?
Yeah. Okay.
Yerushalyim b'sukkah, Rabbi Yosef bar Bon became Rav Babar Mamon. Question: Lama Korin at Hahaldel Kol Shevi Yemei Hachlag. Why do we say all 7 days of Sukkot? Connected Halula, as corresponding to Halula, Shehu Mikhadesh Kol Sheva. There's a mitzvah for Halula every day, all 7 days. The Midrash Har Ranenu. So this, I forget what this means honestly.
The Medrash Harinu, that I think here in the Medrash Harinu, it is a referencing us to the Parshas Sukkah. It could be that also the mitzvah of Sukkah is also something which we're fulfilling each and every day, similar to the Lulav.
Harinu is the name of the Midrash?
No, Harinu. The Parshas, I think that it's referencing us to the Parshas of Sukkah. It could be a reference to the Parshas Sukkah.
Usually, Reish Nun means to cry out in a loud voice, right? Reno.
Reno also is also a joyous song. I'm not sure. I don't think that's what has been used here.
So it means we found you.
Directing us into the Parshas of Sukkah.
V'kenatzav Motzei Kol Zayin Yemei Hachag, and also you find all 7 days of Sukkot. Anu Gomrin at Hallel. Anu Gomrin at Hallel.
We say a full Hallel during the time of Sukkot.
Aval b'Pesach ein Anu Gomrin at Hallel. Ela Yom Rishon v'Laylo. Rather on Pesach, we don't say the full Hallel except on the first day and the first night. V'lama Shmuel bar Abba Amar, and why did he say, "B'neful odecha al tismach"? Don't rejoice in the devil and your enemies. Lafi she'nitva'u bo hamitzrim, because the Egyptians drowned. So I don't understand why this is an answer to that question.
I think it's supposed to be like this. Avo, this is the beginning of the question. Pesechi, ein anu gorim mezahal. El yom rishon, right? Relaloi, ulama.
They only drowned that the first day.
Right. Okay. And why? And because the Shmuel ben Abba, Omer, Shmuel, could be that's another name of Shmuel Katan. Maybe we call him Shmuel ben Abba. There's also the same in Shmuel Katan, right? He says we don't do it because the Neufel Ayavech al Tisma, the feature of Mitzrayim, Metabu Mitzrayim. So for that reason, we don't finish the Hallel except for the first day of Pesach. But the question comes up now: why do we go from the Hallel B'Hanukkah? Just like our enemies were being destroyed at the Yom Suf on Pesach. Right, and we don't say Hallel because of that. So when Hashem was destroying our enemies of Hanukkah during Hanukkah, why do we then say a full Hallel there? Right?
Lama Gomri Hallel b'Chanukkah. Hatzati hatza'am b'shem Rabbeinu Shlomo.
That might be a reference to Rashi, by the way.
מצב שהיא חלוקה בנרותיך כל יום ויום, חלוק לפניו. We do the candles every day.
I mean, each day is a separate mitzvah, right? Havi kechag. It's like the Sukkot, shecholot b'karbonos, that the days of the of the Chag of Sukkot are also specialized and individual, distinct in their korbanos. Just like the days of Hanukkah are distinct one day from the next in the amount of neiros, candles were burning, right? It's just like the days of Sukkot are distinct from the amount of korbanos, sacrifice would bring.
This conjugation is very uncommon, this havi, like the present tense of to be, right? It's rare.
In Yerushalyim, not so much actually. I was noticing.
In Tanakh, it's almost non-existent.
Yeah, okay, that's something else.
Havi kechag shechalok bekorbanotov v'achi rav Binyamin. I'm not sure if this is there.
Run. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Perash hata'am lama gomrin halal al sheva yemei Chanukah. Why do we say full halal on all 7 days of Hanukkah? Sheharei hanes yitchadesh b'kol yom v'yom. The miracle renewed itself every single day. Niknasu Yavanim l'heichal, when the Greeks entered the temple, Matzu called Shemanim Mikdash. They found all the oils in the Mikdash, all the candles, whatever. Gavra, and when they were mighty,
when they were overpowered by the Malchi Hashmonaim, when the Hashmonaim overpowered the Yavanim.
Ushigavra Yad Malchi Beit Hashmonai Matsu Pach. They found one little flask Katan. Matsu Pach Katan Chatom. One sealed flask of oil, I presume.
Yeah, actually, it's not really so small. It's actually, it could be. It could be more than a liter. It wasn't such a small amount. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave that when we get the 100 minutes of Shem. Okay. The Chasumai with the seal.
Indicating that it was tahor.
Right, it still remained sealed by the common code.
The Tsama. Shel Kohen Gadol Shehei Ra'ui Lahadlik Imenu Yom Echad, and it was fitting just to light for one day. V'na'aseh lehenes, and it was done for them a miracle. Lahadliku Imenu Shmona Yamim Shmona Yamim full stop. Im Kain Yom v'Yom Yichadesh Hanes V'al Chadoshan. And because of the renewal of the miracle, we gomrin et halal b'chol yom.
Yes. So that basically answers the question: why do we say a full halal on Hanukkah when our enemies were being destroyed, and we're really not supposed to be happy about that? So we do it because we're really not happy about the victory. That's not what we're saying halal on Hanukkah for.
So the reason for halal on Hanukkah is different than the reason for halal on Pesach.
Yeah. Right. As Hanukkah time comes, we'll talk more about that.
Is this a comment? Is this a widely accepted idea that the reason for halal on Hanukkah is different than the reason for halal on Pesach?
Yeah. That's been spoken about and written about for a while. Yeah. It's true.
This seems like a more obscure source, or is it not?
Not so much. It's fairly well known. He's basing on Rashi, and then there's other version. It's pretty well accepted. Okay, good. So now let's go to the next source, the Derech HaChaim, Shmuel HaKatan. He's explaining again now. We can understand more about what Shmuel HaKatan is teaching us. And for that, take a look here in the Siddur here. That's on page 398, right? You have here.
What is this? Just a normal weekly Siddur?
Yeah. Moving on, has the prayers for Shabbos in it as well, and also after Mincha on Shabbos you have Pirkei Avos, which is included in most normal standard Siddurim. Right? So I'm going to reference you here to the Mishnah Chav Gimel, which is about a third of the way up from the bottom. Right, Chav Gimel, it's right there. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer. You all have it there?
Which chapter?
That's chapter 4.
Right.
And in this numeration, it's number 23. So if you look at number 23, we'll see if it's aligned with this. Not Pirkei Avos in different editions of different sparring is not always the same in terms of its numbering. You have number 23 there?
Yeah, please, go ahead. I think I'm following you.
Okay. Would you like to read? That's so. If you want, you can.
Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Al Terazeh Es Chaverecha.
Chavrecha, good.
Bishas Kaso.
Okay, so Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar said, don't.
He said, do not appease your fellow at the time of his anger.
Right, so when your fellow is angry, don't attempt to appease him. It's not a good time to try and appease somebody when they're angry. Let them calm down. Okay, next.
Ba'al Tenachamehu B'sha'a Shemeso Mutal Lefanav. Do not console him while his dead lies before him. Va'al Tishal Lo Bishas Nidro. Do not question him about his vow at the time he makes it. Va'al Tishtaldeo Liroso Bishas Kalkalaso. Nor attempt to see him at the time of his degradation.
Yeah, what do you say, Matthew?
I mean, there's a time and place for everything. Sometimes you gotta leave people alone. Everyone's more concerned with what they got going on in their head, and they're not sometimes aware that the best thing you could do right now is not say anything. Regardless of what your message is or how important what you have to say is or whatever. Sometimes you just need to leave people alone.
That's right. I mean, look, it's all here. It's like there's so many things, so many basic things. That's Pirkei Avos. One of the things I picked Pirkei Avos to learn. There's so many basic things. It's straight from Chazal. There's not no one's arguing about these things. These are basic things, basic ways of life, customs, habits, viewpoints, and attitudes that we're supposed to have. It's just like. So we're going to now, the Maharal is going to speak about this last point, which was mentioned, that we have here, Al tishtadel leroiso b'shas kalkalosoi. Shouldn't seek to try and see your friend at the time that he's being disgraced, right? You ever in a restaurant and the waiter drops a tray or drops a cup, what does everyone do? Starts clapping or something like that, you have to point out, the guy's embarrassed enough. You have to make it worse, everyone's clapping at him.
We gotta stick the knife in and turn it, twist it, pull it out, stick it in somewhere else. It's like, gosh.
Yeah. So you're not even, you see somebody in a situation where he's being embarrassed, disgraced. So, turn away, clear out, let the guy, it's like, try and get over it. Right? There's, I had a friend that he used to say, something, that something's happening, there's an ambulance on the street and pulls up to a house, or there's a fire truck or a policeman, so all of a sudden the crowd gathers, right? The crowd gathers around watching. He called it the uh-oh squad. Right? They just come to say uh-oh. You know, the the squad. But, you know, what are they doing here? What are they interested in? What's their business? You know, the Gemara says that a person, there's such a thing is called hezekriya. Hezekriya is damaged by seeing. By looking at something, you can cause damage. So it says a person in this particular case, that a person's in a situation of embarrassment. By looking at him, you're adding to his embarrassment. Simply by paying attention to him or her in her situation of disgrace, you're adding to their shame and embarrassment and their disgrace.
Is that what the word kalaso means? Is disgrace?
Could be. Is that like kalkaso is really is basically disgraced? How do they?
This says degradation.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And
Sean,
good morning. Good morning. Please come. No, you're good.
Yeah, degradation. Okay, is that essentially different than disgrace, degradation, and
well,
disgrace?
I look at this. I see this from another angle.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, the angle is not. I'm so much worried about somebody seeing me in my disgrace, as I'm worried about somebody seeing me in my sin. Okay, if I'm eating a plate of fried chicken wings and I'm dipping it in milk dressing, that's what I don't want some guy to see. Does that mean the same thing, or I got the word wrong?
That could also be included in it, perhaps. Perhaps if a person's fallen into sin, if a person, you see him sinning in some way, you shouldn't pay attention to him at that time, because if you pay attention to him and he sees you paying attention to him, so automatically what happens in his mind? He says, well, now I obviously have no hope of ever, making face with this person again, right? So I might go further and further into his path of sin, right? Whereas if you kind of ignore him, make it as if you don't see, so maybe he'll realize that he did wrong, and you can come up to him and say, tomorrow, say, how's my good friend, how's my tzaddik? He says, oh, this guy's calling me. That's what Aaron used to do. He used to go to people and Aaron used to go to people and say, my good friend, my good tzaddik. And people would say, Aaron thinks I'm a good friend, a good tzaddik. How can I do something wrong? How can I get into a fight with him? How can I get fight? He thinks I'm a tzaddik. I'm his good friend. Right? So yeah. But if you see him and he sees you paying attention to his degradation, at his time of doing something that's wrong, so he's lost face with you, and he's never been able to get. It'll be very hard to get that back. He knows you saw him doing something dastardly, right? So you can't go and say to him, how's my good friend, my good son? You can't.
So is it disgrace? Is that the right word?
Well, again,
how do you translate that word?
I would say disgrace, but degradation is also, I think it's also valid.
Okay.
Question on Hezekiah.
Yeah.
That's not punishable with damages, right? I presume.
It's not punishable in base day, but in Shemaim it could be. And what we see, that's the whole first parak of Baba Basra, a shutfing, that they build a wall. Why do they have two people have a common courtyard that they share together? Now they decide they want to build a wall, right? So by building a wall, if they're sharing a common courtyard, so each one knows not to walk around in ways that are going to be embarrassing for him or for the other person to see him. But once you start building a wall, that means, well, I'm protected by the wall, so I feel I'm in my private domain, so I'll do things, private things, which I would never do and think of doing in public. So therefore, you have to build a wall a certain height and with certain specifications that the person won't come to inadvertently or intentionally come and see the other person in a situation of privacy, right? Because by seeing a person in doing private things, he automatically is lessened in your eyes in terms of his honor. Right? So you have to take precautions not to come to those situations. Not that you can necessarily be obligated monetarily because of things might happen because of it, but you have to take precautions, and it will cost you sometimes money to take these precautions, right? And for example, let's say that you have an apartment building, right? So you're up on the 10th floor, right? So there was facing your window other apartments, but it was the back of the apartments, and they had no windows facing you. All of a sudden, they open a window facing you, right? So they're obligated to make sure that there's a barrier, right, between you and them to maintain the privacy that you always had, right? If they want to open a window for light or air, very good, but they can't infringe upon your privacy rights by opening a window, and which would allow them to see you. That's going to be one of the main points mentioned in this week's parsha. What did Bilam see the last time in Matovu El Chiyako? We say that's one of the first things we say in the morning. We come into the davening, right? And we say, oh, how wonderful are the tents of the house of Jacob, of Yaakov. That was something that Bilam said. Because why? Because all the entrances to all the tents were fixed and organized and arranged in ways that no one could see into the other tent or the other one. And he saw such care and holiness amongst the Jewish people. He couldn't curse them. Right? So that's a very important point.
And that window concept would apply even if the building that opened up the window was there first, even if that building was there.
Yeah, because as it stands, the status quo is that you had privacy. The person by opening up the other window he's changing the status quo. But he cannot do that. He cannot make any change in the status quo without either maintaining, or maybe we'll make a deal with you, we'll pay for you. We'll have to spend money to keep it the privacy, or maybe we'll buy you off. It's worth $100 for you to have me. Maybe he can't look at you, but inadvertently he could have to look. Okay, so that's al tishtadel. You shouldn't make efforts to see somebody right at the time of their disgrace. Right, tishtadel. That's to make efforts, because sometimes you'll simply see somebody without, it'll just happen. So you can't do anything about that. That's just that you should not make efforts to see somebody at the time of their disgrace or their degradation. Okay. When we get to that, we'll go into more details. Now, take a look here what the Ramchal. We'll just begin here with the lines into the Maharal here in Derech HaChaim. That's the fifth reference, the big paragraph. Right? Yaakov, would like to read that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Shmuel Katan Omer Kule. Yismach Divrei Shmuel Katan Lakan. The words of Shmuel Katan are supported here.
Or nismach are joined here. It's the smichus. The smichus is the one connection of a statement to another statement. So if you look back in your siddur or in your Pirkei Avos there, right? It says al tishtadel l'roso b'shas kalkol. So Shmuel Katan omer limpo yevech al tismach. That's the preceding statement to which the arrangements of Shmuel Katan's statement to us about not being joyful over your enemy's downfall, it was immediately preceded by the statement Al tishtadel l'ros. So that's by your chaver, by your friend. Even your friend you shouldn't try and see at the time of his disgrace, his downfall, his degradation. And then upon that comes the mimer, the statement of Shmuel Katan. Why? The Maharal in Prague is going to explain why.
So mashma means
Mash means the implication is.
Implication is.
Or this implies.
Even though the Shoresh is like to hear?
No, that's also, it's the same thing. When you hear something, right, you hear things from people, but so you can infer from what they say, what they're thinking, right?
Yeah. Also their body language too, probably, I expect.
Yeah, that's also.
So he will so he might come to rejoice in this in his degradation.
Good.
Shalom. Lachach hu ba lerato va'al zeh amar.
Therefore, who ba'al also, therefore, he's coming to see it. Meaning the joining of the statement of Shmuel Katan to the previous statement, right? That al tishtadel roso b'shas kakol. So mashma, we can infer from this. Why? Mitnei shu samach b'kukoso shelo. Since a person, by seeing a person being degraded, disgraced, he's happy about that. That's even by a friend, even someone you like. Nakahu ba'al roso. That's why is he coming to see that? Why is he saying don't make hishtadlus, don't make efforts to see him? What are you interested? What's driving you to want to see this guy, right? When he's going to be disgraced, or is he going to go through some embarrassing situation? What's driving you? Hishtadlus making efforts. Why? We're being told don't make efforts to see him when he's being degraded. Why is that? It must be that we can infer from this that there must be some joy that people get in seeing people when they're degraded, when they're being disgraced. So we'll have to stop with that, because that's something we will have to think about. What possible joy could a person get, right, from seeing somebody get disgraced? Right? So I have to think about that, Mitzvah. Okay.